being head coach of Fremantle. What's that moment like when you confirm that that's, you've obviously applied and gone through a process, and when that's confirmed, what's that feeling like?
Oh, it's a nice emotion, right? Like when I went into coaching, I always had high ambitions of being best coach I could be and being a senior coach.
Yeah.
But I always had the caveat that I was never in a hurry, and I would always wait for the right opportunity, and an opportunity when I felt like I was well-rounded and ready. And it just happened to be the job came up when I felt like I had those experiences at Collingwood and was ready. So yeah, applied, put a lot of time and effort into the application, and it's a great process to go through, to be able to get all your thoughts out of your head and put them in a document, and then be able to present them. But that emotion the emotion of joy, and it's a great achievement, doesn't hang around for a while, for long. Like it's pretty much, got to get the kid, got to get the family home, got to start work, got to do the media, and all of a sudden you're in the senior coach mode pretty quickly. And then you got to think about the whole program. How's the whole pre-season going to unfold? How are you going to implement the game plan, culture, all that sort of thing. So you get to work pretty quick.
You think, oh shit, I have to actually go and do all those things I promised I could do in the interview.
Pretty much.
What is the application process? Is it like a 100-page document? Like I'm expecting, I don't know what to expect with a head coaching position application.
Yeah, I lent on some people to help me in terms of the format and how it should flow, that type of thing. I was very fortunate. In my last couple of years at West Coast, I did a level 4 coaching course through the AFL, and that sort of, as an assistant coach, you're on the treadmill week to week, and your weeks look very similar. And review the game, prepare for the next, watch vision at the same time, talk to the players about the same thing, do the tapes, and you're in that mode. The level 4 coaching course lifts you out of that and gives you an ability to look at things a bit more bigger picture as a senior coach would. You get a bit of a lens on list management, all those type of things. So, and then at the end of the level 4, you have to do a presentation, and it's a mock presentation to a board pretty much, or a senior coaching committee. So that was a good experience, get some feedback and a few other things I could have done better. I'm not a massive fan of role playing, so it didn't go that well. And then, but the document I put together was probably about 90 pages.
Wow.
And I put it in a binder and gave it to the people who were on the committee. And you do an interview at the start, and then you got through to the next round, and then you do a formal presentation to the committee, which I felt was pretty relaxed. Like it was pretty relaxed, and it wasn't necessarily me standing in front explaining or going through my presentation. It was more of a Q&A, deeper dive into things that were in the presentation. And then clearly you go through style of play, how you lead the coaching group, dig really deep into some of the things in the game plan that you can change, and you talk about the list, and it goes for about 3-4 hours. So it's intense. It's pretty intense and demanding, and you're pretty exhausted by the end.
Is there anything that jumps off the page looking back over your time as Freo coach that you didn't expect as a head coach, that either challenges or positive things or things that you didn't know until you knew? Sure, lots maybe.
Well, there's lots, but I knew it was really demanding job. So when all those things pop up, you sort of think, well, it's just the job. And Neil Danaher gave me some advice I think it was when I got the Fremantle job. He said, people talk about work-life balance as senior coach. Work-life balance isn't a thing. You just got to be really strong in your priorities. So if your priorities are your job and your family, make them your priorities, because you won't have a lot of time for all the other stuff you've got time for now. And it's pretty true. And you got to just make sure that you prioritize those two things, because a lot can consume you if you don't. And you don't have a lot of time for other stuff. And if that other stuff starts eating into those priorities, you're probably not going to do a very good job. So I try and live true to that. Don't get it right all the time, especially at home by helping out enough. But there's not a day where, you couldn't be working as a senior coach.
Yes.
And you think you've churned out all this work and it might be 10 o'clock at night and you think, geez, I'm on top of it. And then you go and lay down in bed and you think, I forgot to do that. And I said to my wife the other day, I think I could work for a week straight and that thought would still pop into, I should have called this player, or I should have asked this player about that, or should have showed him that bit of vision. Not that I do a lot of that. There's so many things you can do if you want to as a senior coach.
Is that why assistant coaches are so important for you?
Critical.
Yeah.
Critical. And when you've got assistant coaches that you trust, they will do their job. It takes a lot of time pressure off you as a senior coach. And I'm very fortunate at the moment. I think I've got a really good coaching team around me that I trust to do their job. So that does take a lot of stress away from me. But there is certain things that only I can do or I'm the decision maker of. So just striking that balance.
I mentioned before we came online here, JL, that wasn't going to be a lot of current footy stuff because I said you can probably consume that content somewhere else. This is a bit more of a journey piece, this potty. But I was thinking about, before we chatted, the pressures as a player versus the pressure as coach. Are they very different things? Are they I don't know. You've done both, so I haven't.
Some ways they're the same. Like some ways they're the same. You probably, as a player, you feel you go through different stages of your career, right? Like early days, the pressure's on you to remain in the team, or first to get a game, and then to remain in the team. And then once you start feeling comfortable in the team, it becomes around being a consistent performer and winning, and you think a little bit more holistically about the team.
Then
when you get to a certain
leading and
then leading, and absolutely. So you feel different sorts of pressures in your footy career, but as a senior coach, you do feel the pressure of the whole footy club. That's not saying you should, but you do, because winning and losing affects all aspects of the footy club. So you do feel that burden as a senior coach.
It must also be hard because a lot of the burden falls on you from even just fans, because when you're a player, you're one of 22 on the field, and maybe you have a rough game, but usually a game isn't lost because of one person. But I feel like fans look at the coach straight away well, there's a problem. That must be
lost coach's fault.
You lost the game because of something the coach did. That's so different to obviously having to deal with that as a player.
Oh, absolutely.
You just watched one of the best stories from our full podcast. They come out Wednesdays on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Get to it.